So let's talk about Iayze in 5 years. Now I feel like this one is long overdue, and when I say this was one of my favorite artists to look into and hear his music and really understand who he is as an artist and what he has to offer that's different than all the other underground rappers, but let me tell you, I was not disappointed at all. This dude is very talented. I understand the appeal, and he really has something different than a lot of these other underground rappers. I see real superstar potential in him. I can tell he has a lot to offer as an artist. He's spoken out before about his mental battles and the rough life he had up until this point, so we know it's become a fact that the most raw and organic rappers all have the most going on in their real life. Young Boy, Durk, Young Thug, I mean, these rappers aren't talented for no reason. The artists who are able to build strong connections with the fans and make such good music, it comes with a certain level of experience, emotion, pain, and just straight soul that you put into the mic when you record. And yes, Iayze has that effect in his music, and I think it's because he falls in line of having that character and the talent, which is just a recipe for success. So yeah.
Either way, like, you know, I was just shot at like twice, you know. I just almost died like off pills, which she knew about because she had to be at the hospital, but like all that other type of shit. So like I just got fucking robbed at gunpoint at the age of 15 by a 26-year-old, you feel me? Like by myself, like I didn't own a gun at the time, bro drove me from my house like and just pulled the gun on me, like that type of shit. So I was always traumatized.
Even his first song on SoundCloud 4 years ago wasn't a bad song. You know, it's a real green flag about an artist if they came out the gate with talent. A lot of artists come out biting somebody's style and they form into it. I'm not saying he was completely established, but he definitely understood what he was doing from the jump. Which is
sorry, I dropped out of school.
Which is crazy because even though he was making music in 2019, even in 2021 he only had 28,000 monthly listeners. Fast forward a year later, he had 800,000. In doing this video and looking into his work, man, I had to go to SoundCloud and I didn't realize he drops so much music. He's on straight young boy time. He's just constantly dropping EPs and mixtapes, and obviously they're not going on Apple and Spotify, but the fact that he's dropping all these mixtapes for his true fans, to me, is one of the smartest things he could be doing, because this is something that no rapper does. I have heard people saying that he shouldn't oversaturate us or this isn't good for his music career, but you know, I respectfully disagree with that, because I feel like he's in a certain arc of his career right now where he'll be very happy he did that in the future. And dropping tapes or EPs every 4 weeks or a month is fire because the fans really feel a reflection of where he's at in the current moment of his life, because you could tell he probably put an album together in like a 7-8 day span, and that was just the vibe for that project. And what he's doing right now is a great sign that he'll have longevity and be relevant in 5 years, because artists don't just become mainstream. Unless you break through with a global hit, maybe you'll get fast success, but fast success comes with a fast downfall, just like Roddy Ricch after he dropped the box. So with the slow rise to mainstream, like I guess you could say Iayze is going through right now, because he has been on the come up for about 2 years since he popped off, that when he gets on, that will equate to a long run of real fame and popularity. And like I said, dropping all this music is a fire approach. So many artists are trying to be exclusive, and he's just being real in a way. He's just blessing the fans, and this is his craft. He has an amazing work ethic, and with that said, that's important because a lot more plays into industry success than just talent, because a lot of people got talent and they didn't make it because they were just lacking other components: consistency, authenticity, personality, niche, or maybe just label troubles. We talk about that a lot on this channel. But when it comes to Iayze, he has all green flags when looking into his future. I would 100% invest if he was a star. Although if he did have a red flag, it would be when all the snitching allegations went down and you know he was getting exposed by people. He even had a song with Offset, NLE Choppa, and G Herbo, and it was gonna have a lyrical Lemonade music video. You know, it would have really popped off. This is when he had his Green Tips TikTok hit. Let me tell you right now, I'd be making a whole different video if that remix came out with all of the mainstream artists. One thing about all the mainstream rappers right now, they will not work with anybody who quote unquote told. Even Gunna, he did a plea deal. He didn't tell, he's not on no paperwork, but since he took a plea deal and he said yes ma'am, nobody wants to work with him. It doesn't matter. And you know, Gunna was established way before he took this plea deal, unlike Iayze, who, you know, this happened in the midst of his like come up. So I would say that's gonna affect his career if he lets it. But honestly, because his unnecessary amount of beefs, like he's already cemented himself as a solo artist. He doesn't really need collabs.
Dick riding ass homeboy, you got you let her ride his dick. He smokes cigarettes too, and he only picked them up because of me, because he want to be like his daddy. Fuck you talking about, bitch ass nigga.
Typing. Stop typing. Listen. Your logic is that I can be 16 years old, say whatever the fuck I want, throw up blood, say this, that, and the next thing, and y'all are going to make sure nobody touches me because I'm a child? Boy, fuck no.
We know artists like Money Man, artists like No Cap, artists like Jace. They don't need collabs. Fans really want projects, adjust them. So I'm hyping them up crazy right now. Let's talk. If you guys are new here, we've done the 5-year series on plenty of rappers. We usually stick to the same format, which is going through 2 or 3 different outcomes for where we see the artist in 5 years. Maybe I'll throw in a few hypothetical situations as well. And when talking about an artist like Jace, I have 2 different outcomes that really sit right with me. So with Jace being 20 years old, having a core fan base of, I would say at least 40K right now, which is a lot. I would say he would get like 20K first week sales. He has about 1 million monthly listeners. He's truly on the come up right now. There are so many different ways his career could play out. And right now in his career, he lacks mainstream exposure, but he does have a thriving core fan base. And that right there is more important than the mainstream exposure and can take you way farther. So truth be told, even though he is signed right now, Jace doesn't need the industry. And after hearing him in an interview, he did say he will wish to go independent, but what he said was if he could. So I think he has a vision in his head that he really wants to go mainstream. He wants to be one of the best rappers.
Like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I see myself owning property, like owning properties, like a lot of property. Like I want to own my property. Once I can go independent, I want to go independent again, like depending on where I'm at in life. I'm just doing this to see how it.
But for the first outcome, with Jace signing in 2019 and his contract coming to an end pretty soon, in 5 years I can see Jace as a successful independent artist. Now hear me out, because people like to toss that word around and they act like any rapper could be an independent artist. Now yeah, no matter who that is, it's good for your sake, but at the end of the day, not a lot of rappers could actually make progress being an independent artist. You have to have a certain core fan base, a certain personality, and just you already need people riding with you who aren't gonna switch up. And with Jace's SoundCloud numbers, all these projects he's dropping, man, it will be in his best interest to go independent. You realize he's dropping all these projects on SoundCloud. He's not able to get them on streaming services, and most likely he's not making no money from these tapes. And if he decided to stay independent and do exactly what he's doing now, I'm sure in 5 years, 1, he could have a contract from a label for 20-30 million more than it is right now if he really grinded independent with the fan base he already has. Or 2, just be a successful independent artist, because bro, with his numbers right now, he'd be making good bread, and I'm sure he's gonna keep growing because he's only 20. So let's say he had even just 1 million more than he had now, but he was independent, he would be well off. But the reason I put that as the first outcome is because the reality is a lot of these rappers do not want to settle for semi-making it. They want to be the best, and they know being independent can only take you so far when it comes to the mainstream exposure and celebrity status. So that's why with him staying independent as the first outcome, it really all comes down to what he's gonna do when his contract expires. Is he gonna re-sign? Is he gonna sign with another record label? Or is he gonna stay independent? Because let me tell you right now, he has everything it takes to go mainstream. Simple. I think we know this. So signing with a major record label in the next 1 to 2 years, and in 5 years being, a face of the industry, it's totally possible. It's really a matter of, does Jace want to go the industry route? Does he want to be on Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Grammys, all that? Does he want to have that lifestyle? Well, fans will see it from 2 different perspectives, because some fans are going to say, he wouldn't want to sell out, go Hollywood like that. And, other fans would encourage him, like, sign to a major label, like, become mainstream like that. And I think with the right label and right opportunity, even with the snitching situation and all the beefs he has, look at Youngboy. He's very similar to Youngboy, how he goes about his career. So we could really see Jace take over and become a face of the industry. That's very possible. And to be honest, more realistic than him staying independent. And as much as I would love to see Jace in 2029, like the 2020 Lil Baby, as much as I would love to see that, the reason I started this video with the outcome of him being independent is because he's a great example of an artist who should be independent. And the fact that he's in a boat where he could have success without having to get the industry involved, man, it's a sacred position, because man, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that us people just interested in music don't know about. And Jace hasn't really dealt with any of them yet. And let me just say confidently, if he does go the second route, his music career, finances and fame will all go through the roof, but man, his well-being, I definitely can't say the same for. And you gotta be new here if you're thinking, what you mean by that? He'd be more famous. Why wouldn't he be more happy? Man, if you think getting all the money and success in the world is gonna fill that void, it's not. Anything external is temporary, and if you tie your emotions to it, it'll be fluctuating. So in the aspect of what's best for Jace, the best outcome would be for him to have his core fan base, stay independent, and stay out the way. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't have any outcome of him falling off or, becoming irrelevant, of course that could be a possibility, but I'm being real with you guys. I do think the ball's in Jace's core right now, and how he wants to go about his career is how he will go about it. If he wants to sign over to the industry and they do what they do, they run their course on him. Like I said, he has real work ethic, real talent. He has like that angry personality. Like, dude is industry bound if he wants to be. And I'll say confidently right now, I think he will be a megastar in 5 years. Now, did I warn him? Did 10 Toes Ant warn him he could have went independent real quick and, made great money and not had to, do all the dirty stuff behind the scenes? Now, what dirty stuff you talking about, Ant? Go check out some videos. I get a little bit into it. But regardless, somebody like Jace deserves all the success in the world, and I don't think him falling off is really even a possibility. So yeah, as you guys can tell, I'm choosing the second outcome. I do believe there's a slim chance, he'll actually go independent after his deal's all done, like he said in the interview. But truthfully, I don't think he put all this work in to settle, and I think he's gonna keep climbing. Now, we're gonna have to let time tell. Come back in 5 years, let me know if I was right. And it's been your boy 10 Toes, man. I'll catch you on the next one.